Hello and welcome to our Catholic News podcast. Catholic News, for those of you that don't know, is a podcast from the Catholic Bishops' Conference of England and Wales. Now, as we know, winter can be tough for many people, even at the best of times, and these, of course, are not the best of times, with a global pandemic, lockdowns enforced around the world, general restrictions on togetherness, worship, community activities, not to mention the huge economic fallout from COVID-19. In fact, the ability to help people in need is heavily compromised. But fortunately, it's at times like this that our parishes, our charities, volunteers punch very heavily above their weight. Food poverty, child poverty in particular, is a real issue at the moment, and that is the focus of this podcast. Let's take a look at two local projects making a real difference to their communities in North London. Firstly, we head to Palmer's Green to talk to Jerry Bell, who, with his wife, runs a food bank out of St Monica's Catholic Church.
We run a food bank every Monday, and we typically support about 60 families, which consists of about 185 adults and children. We were approached by some people from Charities, and when lockdown came in March, we were asked, could you help? And we said yes, but we didn't know how we could help. And through the help of Father Mihol at St Monica's Church, he provided the premises where we could provide food to people in the local community. And we then arranged with the charity Felix Project and Fair Share to provide some food for those in need. And also through the generosity of parishioners at St Monica's Church, we were able to help many people over the last 7 or 8 months.
What a great team effort there in Palmer's Green. Let's find out a little bit more about the people they've helped during these tough times.
So client base, we have quite a mix. They come from all parts of the world to live and work in London. And when lockdown came and COVID came, you take a lot for granted. You assume that you'll always work. You'll always assume you have income. And suddenly that stops. And the nice thing was for us is that no matter who that was, where they came from, whether they are believers or not, we provided a base for them every Monday to come and talk to us and for us to provide some food for them. So they don't have to be a Catholic or whatever religion. If they live in our community and they are our neighbours, we are very happy to help. So some families have 6 children, large families, single parent families as well. So they are really struggling to look after a large family, but also struggling financially because they've either lost their job or been furloughed with a reduction in income, and they're finding it really difficult.
Now, there might be some of us at home listening to Jerry thinking, I'd like to get involved with something like that, but I have absolutely no idea how to go about it. What advice does Jerry offer?
Well, we were in the same boat 8 months ago. We had never done anything like this before. And I think what inspired us is we watched in the comfort of our own home, because we are so fortunate. But sometimes you've got to leave your own home, make the effort, speak to people about who might help you do something to help your local community, and then try to make something happen on a very small scale. And we have local supporters who provide us with food. And what I'm always impressed with, it's the people who have least tend to give you the most. So if you want to get involved, it's kind of really easy because there are so many good causes around London and around the country where you can become engaged. But just ask, speak to people, go online, find out what's going on in your local community, and you will find it really, really rewarding.
Excellent stuff, making a real difference there in North London. Now, just around the corner in Edmonton, an organisation called BASE, standing for Build, Achieve, Support, Empower, is helping to feed hundreds of people every week. Here's founder Candice MacDonald.
We do a food bank, we do mentoring as well, we do a lot of support network, we do children, families, mental health, elderly, so we don't discriminate. It's anyone that needs it. We get referrals from the local solicitors near us. We get referrals from the council, referrals from the age concerned, so we hit 300 to 400 a week. We're the two drivers. The others stay at the base, and we have 2 people in the base because we're trying to stick to the COVID guidelines. So we stick 2 in the base, us 2 do the drive-in. Because we don't give out food after Friday at the hall, and if we have left over, we find the nearest food bank to give it to them so it doesn't waste. No food goes to waste, and we all transfer food that way.
But these, as we've said, are really challenging times. What impact has the coronavirus pandemic had on the ability to support people in need?
COVID has affected us big time, and we've never been funded, so it's always been out of our own pockets. But then we find that with COVID, not a lot of people would donate to us. So we've had a battle in getting the donations in, and we've won that battle because I don't take no for an answer. So it's been a struggle, but we started in September 2019, registered in January 2020, and then COVID came in. So our project was meant to be about aiming at child poverty and poverty in the home, and teaching the parents about safeguarding. But because of COVID, it's thrown us in the deep end, so we're going all around. We're not limiting people. It's not just children anymore. We are doing parents, we are doing mental health, we are doing the elderly, so it's just a whole range of things. We're even doing pets, so we've been asking people to donate pet food, and that's the hardest thing that anyone's going to do right now. Even here, like, you've got a gentleman here with a dog. Fair enough, he's come to get food for him, but you need to feed the dog as well. So we do quite a lot. We used to get hamster food, we used to get dog food, but that stopped in August, so we're still battling to try and get that, but I will get that. I will.
Well, I don't doubt that, Candice. Very impressively resourceful. Let's find out a little bit more about the BASE approach to helping people.
We don't turn the people away. We tend to talk to them, and then we get a gist of roughly how much they need. Well, we've got one client in particular, her husband died. We didn't know what her husband had died of, and she was more worried that how she's going to feed the kids because he was the breadwinner and she was a home person. And we said to her, look, all right then, you want to get a job? She goes, yes. We helped her find a job. We're now helping her, trying to work out what her benefits are, what she's entitled to, and what kind of help, because she's got 8 kids. So it's more than just giving food, it's about helping them throughout the whole system, the whole period. So we give her extra food on top of what we give her usually to help see her through, because her income's actually low at the moment until we sorted out the benefits. So it's knowing where they are. When you speak to them, you get to gauge if they genuinely need the food or if they just pass it on to other people. If they just pass it on to... We encourage it. We say just take it. Even if you don't want it, give it to someone else. We want everyone to be able to get some food, so that's what we do.
Candice MacDonald there, sharing the excellent work that BASE is doing in London and indeed beyond. So that's just about it for today's podcast. And I must say, it's very heartening to see what charities and parishioners and volunteers are doing to help tackle food poverty at such a difficult time. Right, some links to finish. First, to the Caritas Social Action Network, CSAN. That's csan.org.uk, csan.org.uk. Then Caritas Westminster, the local Caritas, exactly as it sounds, caritaswestminster.org.uk. And for more on BASE, Build, Achieve, Support, Empower, you're probably best off hopping on Facebook and searching for BASE Edmonton. Now, let's make sure we keep those wonderful charities and volunteers in our prayers at this time, not to mention the women and men struggling to make ends meet this winter and the children going hungry. As I mentioned earlier, Catholic News is a podcast from the Catholic Bishops' Conference of England and Wales. Thanks ever so much for listening. Stay safe and God bless.